I would highly recommend that you get a complex endorsement and something a little slower and a little simpler. So for me, the Mooney fit that bill. There's a lot of retracts out there. For example, you can get a Piper Arrow. There are older Moonies, so a lot of these airplanes are very affordable, relatively speaking, right? Because aviation, affordability is subjective, but you can get yourself a retract, build up some time, because insurance really likes retract time when you move into a fast, complex airplane. So if you have absolutely no retract time or no complex endorsement at all, and you go into one of these, you may have a little bit of a hard time with insurance, both in terms of finding a company to cover you as well as the cost associated. So having a few hundred hours in a retract certainly going to help you. So that's step one. Step two, when you go into an airplane like this, what my instructor called the entry level of big boy airplanes, he said you have to do an initial and then you have to do a recurrent every year. So if you're a private pilot with a land single engine airplane rating, you can go and fly a 172 or a Cherokee 180, etc. You still cannot fly this insurability wise. From the FAA standpoint, yes, you could get in. It's a single engine piston. From an insurance standpoint, they require specific things. So the first thing they require in it is what's called an initial. And I went to a company named Archer, and I had an instructor named Nicholas Thayer out of Wisconsin, who I spent about 4 days with doing ground school and about 20-something hours in the airplane. And he knows this airplane inside and out. And that's all he does, is he teaches in Malibus and TBMs. And we spent 4 days together flying the airplane. And once he felt confident in signing me off, he gave me a certificate to present to the insurance company. That insurance company also requires that every single year on the anniversary month of my initial, I go back and do a 1-day recurrent with an instructor like him who is proficient in this airplane. And then they give you another certificate to submit. That recurrent also includes an IPC. So even if you're instrument current, you do need to do an IPC. Insurance obviously being a big factor. You want to ensure that you're doing your initial training correctly with a company that is certified by the insurance company to accept the certificate. My first year insurance on this airplane, I want to say, was around $13,000. Now this happens to be one of the lower hull values for a Malibu, being a first-year airplane. I have it insured for $500,000, which is around the entry-level point for a good, solid Malibu with a nice glass panel, good low-time engine, etc. I've seen a couple, priced lower. I don't know if I'd necessarily recommend buying those, but Malibus today, M350 and a piston model, they're close to $2 million. So anything between 500 and about 1.8 million is the full range on them. You'll find most of the pre-owned Malibus fall between 500 and $1 million. So $500,000 whole value. I had a first year premium of $13,000 with 0 hours in type, but 500 or so hours in retract. I was a newly minted IFR pilot, and I was newly minted in commercial, because I did my IFR specifically when I got in contract on this airplane, knowing that I'm going to take delivery, and you can't fly in the flight levels or class alpha without your instrument rating. And I already said I've been flying for 2 years, a lot of hours, VFR. I'm tired of canceling plans or heading to Florida, seeing clouds and having to turn around. I said, all right, enough's enough. I'm buying a capable plane, I got my instrument. So new IFR, new commercial, first year, 0 time and type, 13,000. Fast forward a year later, when I did my recurrent training, I had about 450 to 500 hours in this airplane. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, I fly a lot. That is a lot of flying for one airplane in 1 year. And mind you, I still had my Mooney, and in that time I also bought a carbon cub. So now I'm splitting time amongst 3 airplanes, and yet I still put over 400 hours on this airplane, because this is my travel plane. Insurance on the second year was a lot more favorable. It was just shy of $8,000. It was around $7,800. So it got cut down by a significant margin, right? Not quite by half, but close. I think in year 3, which I'm coming up in a couple of months here in August, I think my renewal on this is probably going to fall in the low 7s, and I think that's really where it's going to end up being. So that's your rough idea for insurance cost.